Theodore Hesburgh was a legendary American priest. He served as president of the University of Notre Dame for 35 years. The educator was friends with popes and presidents alike. A new biography has just been released that examines the legacy of the priest who was called fully Catholic and fully American. Father Hesburgh spoke of his hopes after receiving the Congressional Gold Medal in the year 2000.
If we can only be grateful, not just that God loves us, but we love Him and we love our country. And we love all the people who live here, no matter what their color or creed. And that we love the world. We're not out to conquer the world. We don't want to conquer anyone. But we do want to bring hope to the world, the old pilgrim idea of the light on the hill and the darkness that somehow guides the ship to harbor.
The new book about him is titled American Priest, The Ambitious Life and the Conflicted Legacy of Notre Dame's Father Ted Hesburgh. The author is Notre Dame historian Father Wilson Miscamble. He's with Ed Wilkinson to tell us more. Hey, Ed.
Thank you, Liz. Father Miscamble, thanks for being with us today.
Pleasure to be with you, Ed.
In your book, American Priest, it's about Father Hesburgh, Theodore Hesburgh from Notre Dame, and you talk about his conflicted legacy. Would you talk a little bit about what you meant by conflicted legacy?
There's no doubt that Father Hesburgh is just a tremendous institution builder. He advanced Notre Dame on every measure of sort of secular achievement. Anyone who's visited the campus from the viewers would know the campus is terrific. It grew so much. But what I argue in the book is what was going on within the classroom had some challenges, that a certain loss of a distinct Catholic educational experience occurred during that time. So that's partly what I mean by the conflicted legacy. On many measures, achievement, but on certain other very important areas, his legacy is more clouded, and it's a more challenging story.
Well, when you talk about a Catholic university, what does it mean to be a Catholic college?
I would argue that there is a distinct calling, and that it's well outlined in Pope John Paul II's document Ex Corde Ecclesiae. Faith and reason have to be integrated together. There has to be an effort to provide for students a kind of basic sense of what an educated Catholic should know, and a real opportunity for them to deepen their faith while on campus. Some of that goes on at Notre Dame, I want to say.
You think, though, that Catholic education, especially Catholic higher education, has veered off in a different direction for the most part?
There's no doubt, and I think that's another part of the conflicted legacy of Father Hesburgh. He wanted prestige and acceptance by secular schools, and in doing so, he somewhat tempered the connection between Notre Dame, and this happened for other schools, and the institutional church.
Father Hesburgh, of course, he was on the social scene a lot. He had many friends. He had friends who were presidents. On the church scene, he had friends who were popes. Tell me a little bit about his relationship with Pope Paul VI, because that sums up a lot about who he was.
Yeah, I dedicate the second part of this book, American Priest, to his dealings with presidents and popes. For Pope Paul VI, a genuine friendship existed. It wasn't just sort of a professional type church relationship. There was a brotherhood there. He met Paul VI when he came to Notre Dame in 1960 when he was Cardinal Montini, and then after he became Pope Paul VI, the friendship continued. But sadly, it ruptured in 1968. Humanae Vitae came down from Paul VI. Father Ted was in a sort of low-level dissent from it, and then tensions developed over his relationships with the Vatican. And sadly, the last 6 or 7 years of Paul VI's life, there was a fraying of the friendship.
You were personal friends with Father Hesburgh also.
Yes.
The fact that you were writing this book, did that damage the friendship at all, or?
Father Hesburgh gave me assistance in the book. I did some extended interviews with Father Ted way back in 1998. He was 80. We went up to the famous Land O'Lakes property in northern Wisconsin, and I interviewed him over a series of evenings. And he gave me a lot of assistance there. our disagreements sort of came to a little bit of a head over the honoring of President Obama at Notre Dame. I opposed that. He was, of course, very pleased by it, but we always maintained a civil friendship, and he was always concerned about my own well-being. He was always a gentleman.
Well, there's so much more we could talk about, but if you want to read more about Father Hesburgh, and you can read this book, American Priest, by Father Miscamble. It'd be worth your time. Father, thanks so much for being with us today, and we're going back to you, Liz.
Thank you, Ed and Father Miscamble. That was absolutely fascinating. Father's book, entitled American Priest, The Ambitious Life and the Conflicted Legacy of Notre Dame's Father Ted Hesburgh, is now on sale.